Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
Now, we should say that, remember, Diddy and his team were very upset when they found out that this footage was part of the documentary, and they tried to shut it down, but,
the act of taping it is what
out.
is so
the
awful.
The act of taping it, right.
Without Agnifalo's
Diddy would say that I didn't authorize that video going out, and the argument they've made is that he's the one who has the right, that he owns that.
Breaking now after Netflix dropped that bombshell Diddy documentary Hollywood's Elite are freaking out, and J-Lo's right in the crosshairs exposed not as a victim, but as a willing player in Diddy's dark world, all while he boosted her career and she kept her mouth shut to hide her own secrets. We've seen the fallout unfold in real time, and the picture isn't pretty. The four-part series, Sean Combs, The Reckoning, didn't just rehash old scandals. It laid bare a web of complicity. And now, with Diddy serving a 50-month sentence for transportation-related offenses, the spotlight has swung toward those who stayed silent for decades. And no name looms larger than Jennifer Lopez's.
Diddy really screwed up, and I'm not referring to his criminal trial, which has him sitting in prison right now, but it has to do with something that happened right before he got arrested. If you've seen the Netflix documentary about Diddy, Diddy The Reckoning, which 50 Cent produced, there's some footage there that had never been seen before. This is a photographer that Diddy hired to follow him around.
And we can't ignore the timing. The documentary's released on December 2nd sent shockwaves through the industry, not just because of its explosive footage, including Diddy's frantic calls to his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, days before his arrest, but because it reframed J-Lo's role in this saga. For years, she's been painted as the glamorous survivor of a toxic relationship, the woman who escaped Diddy's chaos to build an empire. But now, insiders are whispering that her silence wasn't just self-preservation. It was part of the deal. Sources familiar with the case claimed that while Diddy's influence catapulted her from dancer to global superstar, her loyalty came with strings attached. And as the document's damning clips circulate, like Diddy's own words about needing someone who has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business, the question isn't just what he knew, but what she knew and why she never spoke up. The documentary doesn't just stop at Diddy's conviction. It digs deeper into the so-called freak-off gatherings, the private encounters where allegations of coercion and hidden cameras have surfaced. And here's where J-Lo's name keeps resurfacing. While she's never been directly tied to those events in legal filings, former associates suggest her presence at certain high-profile parties, like the infamous 2000 VMA after-party, wasn't just as Diddy's arm candy. One lawsuit amended just weeks ago alleges that a 13-year-old victim was assaulted in a room where a female celebrity was present. The documents don't name J-Lo, but the timing lines up with that night in September 2000 when paparazzi captured her in a heated argument with Diddy at New York's Lotus nightclub hours before the alleged incident.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak-off, I'm going to release one of the freak-off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate."
Coincidence? Maybe. But in an industry where silence is currency, the optics are damning. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is scrambling. His spokesperson called the documentary a shameful hit piece, pointing to the inclusion of stolen footage, private conversations with his lawyers recorded just days before his arrest. Netflix fired back, insisting the material was obtained legally, but the damage is done.
Because there's still such a big question mark in the air because, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, is one of the executive producers on this series. Him, the director, Netflix in general is not saying where they got this footage, only that it was obtained legally. Diddy's side is saying this is coming from a videographer I hired. I know we'll get into the cease and desist. One of the arguments they make is, this is subject to NDAs or agreements that the videographer had signed with Diddy because he was, employed by Diddy.
The series doesn't just rehash the racketeering and trafficking charges from his July trial. It connects dots, suggesting a pattern of behavior that implicates not just Diddy, but those in his orbit. And J-Lo wasn't just in his orbit. She was at the center of it. Their relationship from 1999 to 2001 was a whirlwind of public breakups, police raids, and that infamous 2001 interview where she admitted Diddy would threaten divorce while they weren't even married. He'd say, "Where do I send the papers?" she told Rolling Stone at the time. Now, with the documentary's claims that Diddy's inner circle enabled his behavior, her past statements take on a new weight. But here's where it gets even messier. The documentary's director, Alexandria Stapleton, has already reached out to Diddy's ex, Misa Hilton, about her own potential project, a move that suggests the story is far from over.
Feelings that I have about the documentary, man, it was just old news, and they took a couple of with the footage from Puff from the days that's leading up him to get arrested, and the incidents with the people from the courts. You know, the two people from the courts. So it was nothing new.
And if Misa, the mother of Diddy's eldest son, is being courted for her side of the story, you can bet Jlo's name will come up again. After all, Misa was there during Diddy's rise in her recent Instagram post. Until they confess all the lies they said against you to gain favor, they'll never know peace. Sounds an awful lot like a shot across the bow. If Misa talks, what does she know about Jlo's involvement? And why would Netflix's team pursue her unless they believe she has something explosive to say? The industry's reaction has been swift. Insiders claim that behind closed doors, A-listers are distancing themselves from J.Lo, not just because of her past with Diddy, but because of what her silence implies. One music exec speaking off the record put it bluntly. If she knew even a fraction of what's being alleged and stayed quiet, that's not just loyalty, that's complicity. And with Diddy's legal troubles far from over, he's still facing a tidal wave of civil suits, including claims from over 100 accusers. Everyone connected to him is under the microscope. Jlo's team has stayed tight-lipped, but the pressure is mounting. Her recent divorce from Ben Affleck, her carefully curated image as a self-made queen. All of it could unravel if the public starts to see her not as a victim of Diddy's chaos, but as an active participant in covering it up.
Tick-tock, the clock is ticking on Diddy, because on Friday he finds out what his sentence is going to be, but today he found out what prosecutors would like that sentence to be, and it is vastly different from what his attorneys have suggested to the judge. Prosecutors want him to do 11 years, just over 11.
Then there's the matter of the 1997 assault allegations. A lawsuit filed by Derek Lee Cardalou Smith, a former bartender, claims Diddy incapacitated and assaulted him at a Detroit Holiday Inn, and that Jennifer Lopez could be called as a witness. The documents state Cardell Smith believes J.Lo has vital knowledge about Diddy's behavior during that era. Now, this case is shaky. Diddy's team calls it baseless and points to statute of limitations issues. But the fact that Jlo's name is even being floated in connection to these claims speaks volumes. If a judge allows it, could she be forced to testify?
Said to her,
Showed her
she
the video.
testified
Showed her the
that
freak-off video.
he showed her a video of a freak-off that she participated in and said, if you don't participate in another freak-off when we get to New York, I'm going to put this video out. I'm going to send it to your mother.
And that's coercion.
She testified
if it's true.
to that.
If the jury
if they believe her,
yeah.
that's coercion.
That's
they would have.
And what would she say under oath about what she saw or what she suspected during her time with Diddy? The documentary's most chilling moments might be the ones that don't even focus on J.Lo directly. Jurors from Diddy's trial interviewed in the series reveal how they grappled with the evidence, particularly the footage of him assaulting Cassie Ventura in that 2016 hotel hallway.
Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done.
One juror called it unforgivable. Yet, they still acquitted him on the most serious charges. Their confusion over Cassie's decision to stay with Diddy, despite the abuse, mirrors the public's growing skepticism about Jlo's own choices. If Cassie's loyalty was questioned, why shouldn't Jlo's be? After all, she didn't just stay with Diddy. She built a career alongside him, starred in his music videos, and let him shape her early image. And when the police raided their car in 1999, finding an unregistered firearm, she stood by him then, too. 14 hours in a police station, and she never turned on him. Why? The answers might lie in the career boost she received during their relationship.
That footage ended up going to 50 Cent and his production company, and it's kind of the centerpiece.
Sold to them.
Yes, was the centerpiece of the documentary. So watch this particular scene, because this is where a lot of people feel Diddy really screwed over someone that he should be very...
Diddy didn't just date J-Lo. He produced her debut album on the 6 and helped turn her into a household name. Insiders claim that kind of leverage doesn't come for free. One former Bad Boy Records employee who spoke to the Reckoning producers alleged that Diddy's favors always came with expectations. You didn't say no to Puff, they said. Not if you wanted to keep your spot. And J-Lo's spot was front and center. So when the documentary's narrators ask why she never spoke out, the implication is clear. Maybe she had as much to lose as he did. But the real bombshell might be what's coming next. The documentary's final episodes tease that Diddy's legal troubles are just the beginning, that the FBI's ongoing investigations could pull more names into the spotlight.
Let's just be real for a second. There are a lot of lawyers who call this legal extortion, and that this is the way the legal system works, which is you threaten somebody with reputational harm, and in this case, it's interesting that Jay-Z, who's very wealthy, said it would be financial.
And if J-Lo was really in on it all, what other celebrities are sweating bullets right now, knowing their ties to Diddy could drag them down next? We've already seen Jay-Z's name surface in that amended lawsuit, accused alongside Diddy of involvement in that 2000 assault. His team calls it a blackmail attempt, but the damage is done. The narrative is shifting from Diddy the monster to Diddy the ringleader, with a cast of enablers and participants who've stayed silent for years. And J-Lo isn't just a footnote in this story. She's a central figure, one whose career was built in the shadow of these allegations. The question isn't just what she knew, it's what she's still hiding. Because if the document's claims are even half true, if Diddy's empire was really built on a foundation of coercion, and if J-Lo's rise was tied to her willingness to look the other way, then her entire legacy is about to be rewritten.
The moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this a test?
Big. It wasn't only Tupac. You understand? For the atmosphere that he put those kids in, you got a guy named Anthony Wolf Jones, who was from Bad Boy, from its conception as doing security and being one of the financiers of Puff having to have some money to keep Big and Craig Mack around.
And with Netflix already in talks for more projects digging into Diddy's past, with Misa Hilton potentially stepping forward, and with the FBI's probe still active, one thing is certain, the reckoning isn't over. It's only just begun. And when the next wave hits, J-Lo won't be able to stay silent forever. The real question is whether she'll be seen as a survivor or as someone who helped Diddy bury the truth. The deeper we dig into this web of silence and power, the clearer it becomes that Jennifer Lopez's role in Diddy's world wasn't just about love or even ambition. It was about survival in an industry where loyalty was the price of success. And now with a Netflix documentary pulling back the curtain on Diddy's pre-arrested desperation, sources close to the production reveal that J-Lo's name surfaced in conversations about more than just her relationship with him. Insiders claimed that during the filming of Sean Combs, The Reckoning leaked internal documents and testimonies pointed to her alleged participation in covering up incidents tied to the very charges that eventually landed Diddy behind bars. One former Bad Boy Records staffer, who spoke on condition of anonymity, put it bluntly. She wasn't just there for the rides in the Bentley. She was there to make sure certain stories never saw the light of day. And if that's true, then her silence wasn't just personal. It was strategic. What makes this even more explosive is how it connects to Diddy's most infamous denial. The claim that he had nothing to do with Shocker's tragic end. The documentary doesn't just revisit the allegations. It frames them as part of a larger pattern of obfuscation, one that required his inner circle to stay tight-lipped,